recorded live at 4ZZZ Studios, Meanjin, Brisbane.
On 102.1 FM.
And broadcast across Australia on the Community Radio Network.
You're listening to Zed Games.
Zed Games brings you the best in gaming news, reviews, community and culture. Want to reach out?
Share your hot take?
Or do you just want to share your favourite game?
Find us on socials at Zed Games AU.
This is Zed Games. I'm your host, Paul, and joining tonight are my good friends, Zahra and Caroline.
Hello.
Hello, and a wonderful evening to you both.
A nice evening to you as well.
A soggy evening.
A little bit soggy.
Yeah.
Like Weetabix that have been near the milk for too long.
No. I'm weird about Weet-Bix. I can't. No.
You're just more of a Vitabrits kind of person.
No, I have Weet-Bix trauma.
Trauma?
My hair would fall into the Weet-Bix and get wrapped around my tongue, and the contrast of textures of the bush of the Weet-Bix and the...
See, as a previously very, very long-haired guitar player, I am just very used to eating my own hair. So this is...
just cough up a hairball.
Pretty much. It dangles down, and you just give it try to rip it off if you can, but otherwise just embrace it wrapping around your teeth and tongue.
Anyway.
Let's talk about some video games. And first up, we're going to listen to some news this week brought to us by one Cameron.
Well, hold on, everyone. This news is going to be a bumpy ride. Sony makes an oopsie. It's been a fun week to be a Helldivers 2 fan, that's for sure. Earlier in the week, Sony announced that the surprise PC hit of the year so far, Helldivers 2, will in the future require players to connect to a PlayStation Network account to continue playing. The community responded with this. Sony decided to double down and removed the game from sale in dozens of countries where PlayStation Network wasn't available. Then Sony seemed to hear the relentless booing and, well, I don't know what the opposite of doubling down is. I guess they doubled up? And then announced they were going back to on all of this and everything's going back to how it was before. So that's good? Oh, and the Discord community manager for Helldivers who told people to post negative reviews has been fired. So that's bad. New Switch announcement. Late Tuesday night, the president of Nintendo Japan, Shuntaro Furukawa, announced that we will make an announcement about the successor to Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. So it's an announcement of an announcement. I don't expect that we're going to see details of what the new machine will be anytime soon. The next Nintendo Direct, slated for June, will not contain any details about it and be solely focused on new games for the current Switch platform. Also, the Japanese fiscal year finishes at the end of March 2025, so it could be next year before they officially announce anything. Still, it's a good excuse to get hyped! Xbox lays off everyone! Did you like Hi-Fi Rush? Did you like Redfall? Did you like Mighty Doom? Well, Microsoft has some bad news for you and the people who made those games, because they just announced they're closing the studios behind them. Tango Gameworks, who rose to fame after the release of the hyper-stylish Hi-Fi Rush, are being shut down. Alpha Dog Games, who recently released the top-down roguelike take on the Doom series called Mighty Doom, are being shut down. Arcane Austin, the developers of Redfall, are being shut down. Roundhouse Studios, who did support work on Redfall, are being absorbed into ZeniMax Online Studios to work on The Elder Scrolls Online. This news has come mere weeks before Arcane were to release an update for Redfall that would allow for offline play, meaning that once the servers are closed, nobody can ever play the game again. And this comes after they laid off over 1,900 people in January following their acquisition of Activision Blizzard. I think you know it's coming. Amazon Queen flies again! And in old man nostalgia news, John Passfield has announced the re-release of the 1995 title Flight of the Amazon Queen is coming into pre-order for the Sega Dreamcast. What? This release will include a professional press disc along with a printed 20-page manual later this month. Old man kudos goes to the exclusive interview with Passfield to be included in the manual. Follow the links on our website to find out more. New game releases. Let's cheer ourselves up with some new game releases. Today sees the release of Animal Well on PC, PS5 and Switch. Pac-Man Mega Tunnel Battle Chomp Champs on PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox Series, Xbox One and Switch. Cryptmaster on PC, and Rainbow Cotton on PC, PS5, PS4, Xbox One and Switch. On May the 13th, we've got Homeworld 3 on PC. Blimey, that one been's coming for a while. Did you know there was a Homeworld VR game released last week? Neither did we. Anyway, and on May 15, we have the delightful Cozy Caravan from Brisbane's very own 5 Live Studios on PC. Oh, and there's also the new released Impossible Mission Revised on the Commodore 64. Thanks, and now back to our pals in the studio.
Thanks there, pal. We can always rely on Cam for our good old Commodore 64 releases.
Because who else is going to deliver that news except for Cameron?
Yeah, exactly.
Not me.
Certainly not me.
I loved him adding that Homeworld VR game, which I only know exists because I saw it on the Quest store, and I sent it to a mate who's a big Homeworld fan. He didn't know either. So as far as I know, there's no press for this game at all.
What is the marketing team doing?
And it's weird because
Nothing.
I don't know if you're a Homeworld peoples.
Not
No.
really. It's sort of like on the other side of the fence for me.
The whole thing about Homeworld is that it's operating in 3D space. It was the first strategy game to work without a flat plane. So to view this in a 3D environment around you,
That would make
I'm like,
sense.
so hopefully it's good. I'll find out from my mate. Anyway, lots of bummer news this week. Good stuff. The Helldivers thing is like, initially I was like, this is dumb. And then I got annoyed at the misinformation from people. And then it's like, it's currently actually in the worst actual state for players because, so really, really quick rundown. I don't want to go over it all again. The PSN requirement was there at the very beginning. They got rid of it after day one because they needed server stability. Okay, so it was always supposed to be there, not there. That doesn't really excuse anything. Get in, people playing it. Oh, look, we don't need it to play. This is great. 3 months later, oh, you do need it. Everyone's got to make an account. Bam. Now, PSN accounts, they are not tied to the country you live in. You can make an account anywhere in the world. They have always allowed this. There has never been a case of anyone losing their account for making one on the other side of the world. There's actually a whole lot of things that would make it difficult for them to do that. I have run, if you log onto my PS5, it has an Australian, a UK, a US, and a Japanese account logged into it at once.
I love it.
So you could, but that is technically against the terms of service. And for some reason, a lot of PC players suddenly really cared about terms of services, which I found very funny. But because this all got pointed out and people started refunding, they then restricted the game sale in like 170 countries or something. Which, whilst if you own the game, you can still play it, you're fine. Now that the requirements were removed as well, but you also could have made an account and played it anyway.
Yeah.
But now, because that hasn't been lifted, if you are a player in those countries that either hasn't bought it or refunded it, you now cannot buy it until they fix that bit up. So this is now the actual only current state where you can't get Helldivers in those countries. It'll get fixed up, though. It'll be fine and dandy like sour candy.
I do want to mention,
Yeah?
just like what, just for our listeners,
What are you
the
mentioning?
Cape situation in Helldivers.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Important Cape
review
news.
rankings. They put that graph onto the Capes to memorialize how they were able to defeat the evil.
The evil megacorps making
Yeah.
you use another bloody account.
I don't know. It seems like a lot of hoopla, and I'm still a little
Look,
confused. but
most people missed the entire thing. It was extremely passionate. Players weren't wrong. They were just maybe a little bit overblown on the actual reality of it.
yeah.
Wow, people
But you know, it's
getting
the internet.
overblown.
On the internet.
in
Hey,
video games?
at least it wasn't complaining that women weren't sexy enough in video games
That's
anymore.
true. That
Okay,
is true.
yeah,
yes.
true.
Thank you for putting things into perspective for us, Paul.
Yeah. If you haven't looked into Gamergate 2.0, don't.
No.
But it's very funny for those of us watching.
Oh dear.
Okay, what else happened? Yes, really not fun layoffs.
No.
Microsoft, it's really, I've just basically seen the internet's now totally turned on Phil Spencer after years of sort of letting him slide because he wears gamer t-shirts and...
Because he
look,
was so cool and
so
relatable.
cool. It's like, yeah, but you still just bought lots of studios and then canned them and you don't have the support and you just spent so long trying to just buy Call of Duty. And King. Everyone forgets about King, but King's like the real prize maker there. Anyway, so, but in other things going on. Last night, there was a first of an event. A new site I'm not quite sure where they're pitching themselves at the moment, called the Indie Brew, had a Australian indie game showcase online.
Oh, yeah.
25 Australian indie games, and some of them I had not heard of before, and at least one of them had a world premiere trailer, because the trailer's not anywhere else yet. It was really cool. It was really nice because it's not big yet, so it was the first time I've ever had a nice live chat on a live event.
It was all cozy.
Yeah, we were all
and,
being very friendly. It was quite lovely and touching and intimate. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
All supporting each other. It's like,
Oh my gosh, can we have more of that?
You're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
You're listening to Zed Games on 4ZZZ.
Oi mate, you're listening to Zed Games at 4ZZZ.
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 Got a bit carried away.
This is Zed Games.
Games.
I am Paul. That's Zahra.
Hello.
And that's Caroline.
Hi.
And it's that time of the night again for us to
Woo.
do a review. We're gonna review this game. It's a game that I played and it was pretty good. Or maybe very good, or maybe really bad. I will tell you in about 3 minutes' time.
We'll find out pretty soon.
Something like that. Okay, tonight I am here to talk to you about Demagogue Studios' High Water. Now, if Demagogue sounds familiar to you, it's because I seem to be like their number one stan. They have released 3 games, and was I on Zed Games when the first one came out? Anyway, I've reviewed all 3 of the games. All those 3 games are in the same series, and I already reviewed one this year, and that was The Cub. Now, this series contains Golf Club Wasteland, The Cub, and now High Water. But also, it had High Water 2 years ago when it first came out on Netflix. So nobody played it, so we're counting this year's release, which is on PC and consoles, as the real release.
Yay!
So that's a golf game, a platformer, and now tactical turn-based combat.
A bit of an assortment.
Yes, and this would be timeline-wise the first in the series. The series deals with an Earth that has been polluted beyond recovery, and then people leaving the planet. And then in the first game, Golf Club, the people have started coming back for tourism and playing golf in the ruins of the world.
As you do,
of course.
Yeah.
And then that was a golf game,
People
but
do that
still,
now anyway.
yeah, a cinematic. Yes, we love. Yeah, that's
I love garbage golf. It's my favorite.
garbage golf is my favorite golf. And then the Cub followed on from that with a cinematic platformer, which continued that story.
Mm-hmm.
And this is now people that are not in the class going on the Ark, wanting to get on the Ark that's going to leave Earth, and everyone else is going to be left here to die.
Oh.
Yay.
Okay.
Super fun. The other super fun thing is that all of these games use the same narrative device, which is having a radio that plays the entire game. So it has music the entire game, as well as station calls and people chatting about what's going on. And in this game, spoiler alert, you might get to meet the DJ finally. Whoa! And as we all know, radio DJs are
The
top-tier
coolest.
people.
They're the greatest. Oh, go on.
Yes. So this game infuriates me in good ways. It's weird. It's maybe made for just me, and I will explain why. So a demo came out a while ago, played quite well, quite solidly. You know, tactical. It's grid-based. You've got a bunch of survivors. You're fighting whatever in there. The levels in the demo had like a couple of gimmicks, like, oh, these squares will be a generator's going to zap you at the end of the turn, and oh, one character's got a fishing rod and you can pull other characters with it. Good, solid stuff. Some neat ideas.
Yep.
Okay, and the game is full of this. It's actually not. I'm not dropping a surprise on you here. Every level is pretty bespoke. There's a level where you're against some insurgents, but there's also some bears there. And here's where I'm saying it's a bit weird, because as far as I recall, that's the only level with those bears.
Oh. Were the bears among the insurgents, or...?
No, they were fighting them.
Oh, they were on your side?
No.
Oh.
They were
on
bears.
They're
on the
bears
bears'
on
side.
Bear side.
Oh, I see. Okay, I misunderstood.
Yeah. So the game is just full of these one-off ideas. Later on in the game, there's one fight where you pick up this new character, and he's got a bunch of abilities that no one else has in the game. He can eat sausages. He can do all this like weird stuff and everything. And
That's not unique. I can do that.
you prove it. I've
Can
never
he also
seen
do
it
a
happen.
cartwheel?
No.
He cannot. But if you can, that puts you one ahead, I guess. Anyway, but that fight, like most fights in the game, is quite easy. You don't really need to exploit his abilities, and then you never see him again.
What?
The game is just full of it. You're like, oh, cool, I can't wait to explore the depth of this system. Oh, wait, that was just a once-off, never to happen again. The game, like most of the games, it's on the shorter side. And by shorter for this game being a tactical game, that still puts it, I think, 8 to 10 hours-ish. It was sort of clocking for me. But it's just, well, they make all this really lovely stuff. And then, like, the game, if you look at it on paper, you expect, okay, it's a flooded world. The world is flooded because of climate change.
Yeah.
It's all toxic and everything. You're going around on a dinghy and going to little islands. And you go, oh, cool. Okay, obviously you've got like an area of this old city. You go into different tops of old buildings. You explore. No, it's just... No, this is linear, and there's a couple of paths that will just expose themselves to you as you go past. They're designed for you to go to, and they'll have lovely cutscenes with quite a few bits where people are just gathering and listening to someone sing because they're trying to enjoy the end of the world. Like, lovely stuff.
Yeah.
But you're also like, this is a turn-based tactical game, and... You could have exploited this so much. This game could have been at least 20, 25 hours and still like not have exhausted its gameplay ideas. But they weren't interested in that. They just sort of like stopping and having some fun. They might have exposed some of the more not finely tuned aspects of it if they dug into it too deep. But I think they had the guts to do it. I'd like to see them explore that.
It sounds like they had the potential and like the room there to just sort of flesh things out a bit more.
Yeah, it's one of the things that's very funny. Near the end of the game, there's a section where they do basically the old Monkey Island joke where they go out of sight and you just like see you get all these texts pop up, so you're not actually doing any of it. And then, I think you just mentioned the word DLC. Yeah. Now included is the DLC, which is you actually going in and doing that section of the game. And it's really fun.
Nice.
That's appropriate.
Yeah, so it's just kind of really chill. Especially later in the game, there's just one character that's so OP. I won several fights with just her. Like, I just use her moves and I beat everyone in one turn. And I'm like, she's cool.
And you never see her again.
And unexplained things, like they have all these boosters, and I thought they were just like passives on you. Mm-hmm. But they're not. You're supposed to actively use them.
Oh.
So I didn't activate one of them until like an hour before the end of the game. So I was pretty OP by then. Anyway, it's a lovely story. It's simple, but it's like the way the characters are drawn, both physically but just how broadly, like the woman that's caring for all the abandoned children on a building and things like that. People that are like small love affairs that are like, no, we're just going to stay here and die together. Even there's this old, like really, really wealthy dude that's, he's only got, I don't know, 10 lines or something, but it's still like nicely drawn, paints this good picture of the end of the world. And I expect they're just going to keep exploring this space, but they could do more. They could... I was just really weirded with this game. I'm like, you could just make some more levels. You could have a level editor and let people get this and mess around with it.
It's a bit like when you're on a train or something going home at night and you get a glimpse into like people's homes like on the way home and you might see them making dinner.
You would do that, wouldn't you?
Just
you perv.
Like, haha. A glimpse into the lives of people I will never meet.
Well, it's just like, it's nice.
Yeah.
It's human.
Yeah. It's a very human series. And great music. Yeah. Anyway, so that's my loose review of High Water.
I loved it.
Available on pretty much everything.
Including Netflix?
I think it's still technically on Netflix, yeah. You download it on your mobile device and you have to sign into your Netflix account. That's how that works.
Right.
I believe they're stopping that whole thing because nobody even knows it exists.
Yes.
Anyway, this is Zed Games.
Zed Games.
Some people call me Paul, and some people call you Zahra.
Some people do call me Zahra.
And some people call you Zahra and then correct themselves and say Caroline.
Yes.
That's lovely. Now that we're... it's time for...
a Zahra review.
Zahra. Well, it's really bad.
I'm feeling it, yeah.
Zahra.
Take that, Drake!
Okay. The Pirate Queen, a Forgotten Legend, developed by Singer Films Limited and Singer Interactive Narrative, is a history lesson that seeks to remember the story of Zhang Shi, the widow of the late leader of the Red Flag Fleet, and the events that lead to her becoming leader of said fleet during the Qing dynasty. These events lead to her guiding some of the fiercest pirate ships in the South China Sea. It's a pretty engaging and immersive history lesson, however. As a VR game, it combines escape room elements, a bit of exploration, and a ton of narration, putting you in the shoes of Zhang Shi as she tries to come out on top during the Night of Succession, when the Pirate Council must decide who will become the next leader. Her rival is the leader of the Black Flag Fleet, Kwok Po Dai. He also came from humble beginnings, and he is just as ruthless, making it a challenge for Zhang Shi to even survive the night. The game is broken up into 12 chapters, all over the course of a single night. You're given some backstory about Zhang Shi and her late husband, how they met and married, becoming partners in life and in piracy. And after a tutorial that teaches you the controls, you are in a kayak, quietly paddling through the night, hearing the sound of something under the water. But there's no time to dwell, as you must return to your ship and figure out a way to foil Kwok Po Dai. And so you progress through the game, encountering a couple of allies along the way, people who are loyal to you. Climb up ropes and netting, being careful not to trust the ropes damaged by rot. Find hidden keys by matching up flavor notes in the kitchen. Seek out drawers with hidden bottoms. Observe your environment. Look over the entire room to find a clue as to how to proceed further. Some puzzles can be really tricky if you don't look up. As you move through the night, through more kayak sections where you need to stay out of the light of patrolling boats, through the twisted maze that is the cargo hold of a ship, you need to search out the 3 laws that Zhang Shi proposes to introduce once she becomes leader, and a way to kill Kwok Po Dai. Politics is so complicated. Singer Studio knows how to tell a narrative, and they do know how to make it interactive. There were scenes where I felt like I had to rush to solve a room because it felt like I was in an imminent danger. Times where I felt like I was furiously clambering up a rope, racing against time, reaching the top feeling almost out of breath. Controls made movement and completing actions pretty easy, with a bit of margin for error, so it didn't need to be super precise. You'll want a lot of clear space around you, however, as there's a wide range of movements you'll be making. The voice acting is well done, as was the music, making this an immersive experience. And having Lucy Liu voice Zhang Shi just felt right, as she conveyed how cold and ruthless the pirate could be, but also tempered by a note of caring for a fleet, and especially for wanting to protect the women within it. However, there were issues. Some issues that could be attributed to me being relatively new to the VR scene, but there were issues that made me quit the game twice, restart my headset once, and even have to put down the game for the day entirely because I was super stuck on a level. When I went to look up the solution for the level, I realized that I seemed to have lost something important at some point: the instructions. The game pops up with a window that explains a bit about a mechanic for a puzzle or obstacle. It did that for me for the first 3 chapters, and I actually forgot that they were a thing until I was watching a video where the windows were there, explaining things.
What?
Now, you can opt out of having additional directions so you're a bit more independent, but this wasn't that. But the game does give you a bell that you can ring at any point if you need a hint or a nudge. My other issues were items and puzzles getting stuck in things, or myself getting stuck in the void. It didn't happen more than once, but it was a little frustrating that whenever I get into the groove, it'll be disrupted. I did play this on the MetaQuest 2, and from a quick search, I'm not alone in some issues, but it doesn't seem super common, so just keep that in mind. Otherwise, did I enjoy this game? Yes, I did. I definitely don't want to play it again, though, because even though there is a collection of treasures you can find throughout the game for completionists, but it was a pretty cool history lesson. I did feel pretty cool at some points of it.
Now, in that you said you climbed a rope and felt quite exhausted. If you're climbing VR ropes and feeling exhausted, you may need medical assistance.
It was was just like, because it was very intense, and it was just,
You're just so immersed in the moment. You were
that
like,
I was just like, oh man, I need to get up this rope ASAP to get to the crow's nest before Crockpo Die raises his flag, and I'm just like, fully.
Oh, watch out, Crockpo Die.
And as a note, do not play this game if you're scared of heights. You do climb very, very high in many sections.
Also, don't play with a low roof, because you will punch the roof.
Yes.
Underneath a ceiling.
I did punch a pole that was nearby.
Yeah. Now that you're new to VR and you're getting in, what are the things you've punched and fallen over onto?
I've tripped over Crocs, my own Crocs that I put nearby. I've managed to punch the window a few times during Beat Saber.
Yeah, fair enough. Wait a second. We should go out.
Oh, yes. Let's go to the end of the room. It's $24.95 on Steam.
$24.95 on Steam! And it's probably a similar cost.
Similar cost. I forgot what it was. Anyway.
But if you do want to buy it on Quest, make sure you ask Zahra for her referral code, because then you get 25% off.
Slay! Yes, you can ask for my referral code.
What is your referral code?
I don't know what it is.
That's if you're unaware on the Quest. That's just a thing now. If you want to buy a game and it's full price, just find someone else that owns it, and they give you a code and you get 25% off.
Can I have a look at your library, Paul?
You certainly can. Anyway, yeah. So your VR experiences have been.
This was probably like my first like VR game that was like more narrative and more exploration and more like actually that wasn't Beat Saber, I guess.
So one of my big bugbears with VR, and it's actually the same in games as well. So the storytelling. Were you active in the storytelling? Are you more a passive person, just like watching animations play out in that?
Probably the latter.
It is the most normal for
yeah,
and
it is kind of like it is retelling like a historical thing. So it's like you can't really be like, oh, I decided not to kill Crockpo Die.
You can't make narrative choices in something that's already happened.
Yeah,
you just got to make a reason why it doesn't work. Just like suddenly Bill and Ted just appear and go like, no way, dude.
Just like
that's one of them. I'm not sure which one.
Just like no, you must become the pirate queen. But yeah, I enjoyed it.
Fabulous.
In the depths of Fortitude Valley, the team behind Netherworld have birthed a new beast. Lost Souls Karaoke, a purgatory waiting room and bar, will lead you to one of 5 chilled private karaoke realms designed by Nelson Gibbons, where you will sing for your soul. Book a room and put your soul on the line from Tuesday to Sunday via lostsoulskaraoke.com. Lost Souls Karaoke are proud sponsors of 4ZZZ.
Hello. That was a song called Hold Me by Jupiter C from the game Football Game. Yeah, I love that game.
What a good name.
Oh yeah, it's a sort of a suburban horror-ish pixel narrative game. It's cool. It's got a good soundtrack too.
It's not a game about football?
They go to a football game. It's
everything can be about football.
Yeah,
if you put your heart to it.
And before that, we had The End of Business by Brent Arnold from Final Profit. Profit. A good talkie me. Yes, the Australian weird RPG, which is pretty cool. And currently involved in... Well, actually, I'm not quite sure if Ludonarrative Con has started yet, but it starts this week. So Ludonarrative Con is a regular online convention, which is just showing off games that are focused on narrative and gameplay. So there's some really cool ones at the moment, and I played a couple of them, so I just wanted to mention a couple of them.
Do you have a favorite?
Well, there's one, and I always like when a game is in like a kind of style that I do not like. So I started one called The Horror at High Rock, and it's basically you start the game and it looks like Cluedo. It's a board and you've got character cards and you just go around this mansion, expanding it, going, oh, well, I'm going to go to this room and this guy's good at research, so he can go read these books. And it's just a card game. I'm sure you can just make it as a board game as well. But it's doing really good at giving me a narrative as I go through it. So it's fun. It's a horror story. So that's been nice. It's nice when I find things that are a little bit... It used to be something that cards especially, when they would like... show that abstraction, I was like, why? You could just make it in a game. You don't have to have cards. But I get it now. I get it more now. So it's good times. What have you guys been up to?
Other than like accidentally punching walls and windows in VR,
Causing property damage.
not much. I've been trying to like seek out, I guess, games to try and like help establish better habits because I've got a bunch of assignments due right now, so I'm trying to trick myself into thinking that's fun. But that's pretty much it. How about you, Caroline?
I've been playing Hades 2.
Are you enjoying it?
Yes.
Any other thoughts about that?
Hades 2. Everything is Hades 2.
Have you picked up Hades 2 yet?
No. I just... Well, actually, I probably could pick it up now, because speaking to my Hades-obsessed friend, not you, Caroline, it seems like there's already enough in the game that I would never see what's already there. Because I'd put in like, I don't know, maybe I did Hades like 20 hours, and I still didn't see most of that game.
Yeah,
you won't see that.
Yeah, so it's like I could play all I want of Hades 2 now and I'll be fine, but I think I'll just wait till it's closer to release. Early access is not always where I want to be.
Early access can be fun.
You don't want to see like the placeholder images and stuff?
Oh, I mean, I'm sure I can find them. I hope they just say like thirsty and moist.
Just
text.
like
No.
sexy curve.
No.
Sexy curve here.
Yes.
No.
Tactfully placed shrubbery.
A grey box.
There's no grey
Don't call her that.
What? What? Are you calling me a grey box?
No, actually, no. We weren't even close to that. That's fine. We have much more devastating things to call you, Caroline.
Yeah. Anyway,
But
there's
off air.
just some rough art that's stuck in there, and a few placeholders. Which at first I was like, oh, this just must be what they look like. No, there's people in robes, and
I
didn't
think there's
realise.
charm to that.
Yeah.
It's like I still love a game that uses the devs doing the voiceovers. Well, that's
Yes.
a lot of the voices in Bears in Space, which we did the other week. That's just
Yeah.
this team because they were just making jokes on the fly. And go, oh right, yeah. Well, here's a. It's
I love when
fantastic.
placeholders become forever holders.
Well, I mean, it wasn't really a placeholder, but the face of Max Payne, Sam Lake, is like he's the owner of the studio, and he always has to be Max Payne now.
Well, look,
wasn't Kirby
think-
originally a placeholder?
Kirby.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not really up to date on my Kirby lore.
The Kirby lore.
I'm not, but
Kirby, your
it's like, I
enthusiasm.
swear that's...
It's being Googled right now. Okay. That said, however, that brings us to the end of the show. So,
Aw.
thank you for listening, everyone. We'll
you.
talk to you all another time, and we love you all.
Love you. Good night.
Kirby was a placeholder. Yes. Good night.
Kirby was a placeholder.
I was right. I remember
Caroline
it.
was right.
Thanks for listening to Zed Games.
If you'd like to listen to more, you can find us on the Community Radio Plus app.
Or find us on socials at ZED Games AU.
See you next time.